It seems like it was just yesterday that we were doing a story on housing prices. And the thing is...
It actually was yesterday.
Oh, right.
Yeah, also Monday.
Really?
Yeah.
We're going to get some new material. Thing is, though, every few weeks, some poly comes out and says that they've got the answer for young people wanting to own their first home. And anyway, because today's a Wednesday, there's yet another possible proposal on the table. If you live in Sydney or Melbourne, these are all the houses you can't afford. But fear not. According to The Australian, the Coalition is looking into the idea of letting young people access their super to buy a house. Under the scheme, first home buyers will be able to access a certain amount of super money equal to voluntary top-up payments they make. They can then use that money as a deposit. Now, at this point, it's just an idea, one of many ideas on what young Aussies need to do to crack the housing market. Why, just this week, the man heading housing policy for the government had a bright idea himself.
We're also enabling young people to get highly paid jobs, which is the first step to buying a house.
To be fair, he did go on to say,
It's not the only answer, but it's the first step.
other steps include get your folks to fork out a deposit, move to Tamworth, stop eating smashed avocado, get another good job, maybe kill your parents. Yeah, no idea. Supply? And finally, be rich.
I'm a rich bitch. A motherfucking rich bitch.
Now, we should get a clearer idea of the government's housing strategy in the May budget, but in case we don't, start looking at flights to Tamworth.
Now, it's all well and good for politicians in Canberra to have their say about what people should be doing, but what about the people actually affected by this?
AKA young people, which we both very clearly are.
Basically embryos.
Absolutely. For that, though, we are joined by Katie Acheson, CEO of Youth Action, a group that lobbies on behalf of, you guessed it, youth. Katie, what do you make of this proposed scheme? Yay or nay?
We're going to say nay for this one.
Nay.
Once again, we're just getting a little tiny idea that's going to fix a really big problem. So it's about young people who are already able to save and putting money into their retirement. Oh, wait a second, we're going to let you put that into a house. And those aren't most young people. Most young people don't actually have the ability to save that much money to be able to put it into their retirement anyway. So this isn't really a non-starter.
It's interesting, though, because the money is so tempting. We just did a straw poll around our office, and a lot of people said they probably would take the money if it was up to them. So let's think about it as a long-term move. Are you really putting yourself at a disadvantage when you turn 75?
Well, yeah, you are, because you're making a whole bunch of assumptions that young people, first of all, have jobs where they have somebody who's putting super in and then they're putting it on top of that. Also, that they have the money aside to be able to save that much anyway, because many people have like rental issues that they can't afford rent right now, so they don't even have the money to save. So how many people is this going to be able to affect? Maybe people at the feed could do it, maybe people at ABC could do it, I'm not sure.
We don't get paid that much, trust me.
Well, you know, maybe that's a good argument for getting more money, but I think most young Australians are really struggling even just to pay rent, and let alone the idea of buying a house. What we need to do is see the market be sort of regulated. We need to see some better options so that young people can get into the market, and that the rental outlay that happens because of the high prices is actually kind of stemmed, so that we can get young people living near where they work and where they study.
So, I mean, what do you think the government needs to do in order to make housing more affordable to young home buyers? What are some tangible things that need to happen, do you think?
We need to start looking at the things that are continuing to increase housing prices. So negative gearing, capital gains tax, those things aren't really helping, they're making it worse, we know that. There's got to be some solution. We've got to stop the rhetoric talking around and around about, oh, we should need young people to buy, but we're not actually going to help them. So this is an idea, but it's an idea that's from out of touch people who aren't actually talking to young people. So what we want really is young people to be able to save for their future, to be able to buy houses in areas where they can get a job, have a community and stay in that community, and then pay taxes in the long term so that they can, you know, afford their own retirement and their parents' retirement, really.
I guess the thing is, you talk to young people, you know what young people want, so you've already gotten that far along. So if you were Prime Minister or Treasurer right now, what's the one policy that you would bring in?
My first port of call would be to look at the current taxing scheme. Is this something that's going to work for the future of our country, or are we only looking at our voting population? Are we just making taxes about the people who vote the most for us? And if you're not looking at the long-term future of the country, I don't really think that you're really being a leader. And so let's call our leaders to account. Is what you're doing right now going to be good for young people in the future, and the young people who are coming up, those 2-year-olds who are going to be young people soon as well? So we need to be looking at the long-term future. And so as the Prime Minister of Australia, I would say, let's think about young people first.
Okay, Katie Acheson, CEO of Youth Action there. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks.